In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This week on Simulcast 250, we're talking about Black Friday and Cyber Monday deals. Sony makes North Korea mad, and Lollipop continues its slow rollout. We'll talk about it all right here on the Simulcast. It is Wednesday, December 3rd. I'm Bill Stebbins, and you're listening to Simulcast 250.
250.
250,000, sorta. 250,000. What's up, Patrick?
Not much. What about you?
I'm just hanging out with nothing to do, man.
I can feel you, especially on a Wednesday. It seems like all the episodes of all the shows are either winding down or have wound down for all the Christmas movies can play.
Yeah, and we still have one more to go this year.
Yep.
So, seemed like, did you get any good deals over the weekend or on Black Friday?
No, I mean, I didn't have anything that I really wanted. I'm kind of holding off on some things because at some point I'm going to get probably a Nexus 6, but I always I'm a procrastinator, so I'll wait till closer to Christmas to see what I can get. But
yeah, I ended up not buying anything, even though I bought a lot of stuff, but it wasn't for me. It was for other friends that wanted, I bought an iPad Mini 3 for a friend at work, her son.
Why would anybody buy the iPad Mini 3? I don't understand. You get Touch ID and you pay $100 more than just getting the Mini 2.
$325.
I mean, but you can get that a refurb too for even cheaper than that, probably through Apple.
Yeah, you probably can, but they don't upgrade their devices very often. So
I guess I could see that. But
get the, it was $50 more than the 2 or whatever, and
I mean, all you get is Touch ID. That's why I guess I don't understand the logic, because I mean, it's not like you're getting any better internals or anything.
Yep. So shows you what I know. I'm an idiot apparently, but no, I saved her some money, and she was gonna. Yeah. She wanted the latest and greatest, but because they once they get something, they'll use it for 3 or 4 years.
I mean, I can see that, especially, and I guess I know some people that because they have the Touch ID either because of the 5S, the 6 or 6 Plus, and they love it. So I could see you want to have that same feature, especially if your company requires you a passcode and they haven't disabled that feature. At least that's a way to get over it.
Yep. And then I got some TVs for my mom and my sister. They're moving in this weekend to their house. And
so you're finally done installing everything except the new TVs?
Actually, the TVs are installed. I finished that up Sunday.
Did you wall mount them or just put them in place?
Yeah. 70-inch wall mounted.
Nice.
Yeah, they turned out nice. Used a couple of Peerless slim fit wall mounts. Got them. I was going to order some from Mono Price because they're less expensive and they're every bit as good, but I needed them quickly, and Amazon had them on Prime. They were like $50 a piece. Nice piece of hardware. It's not my pick or anything, but hey, it worked. I was very impressed with the hardware. So let's. Do we have any Apple news? I mean, I guess me buying an iPad was the Apple news for the week.
I thought about putting something because the story that broke yesterday, where there's the Chinese company suing Apple, claiming they had a patent on the design that basically Apple stole it for the iPhone 6, 6 Plus. And I mean, it looked pretty close, but I'm kind of curious to see how this plays out, because I mean, you have to figure Apple wasn't working on this in the last year on that, and so they probably, through distributors, got an idea of it, went and put out a patent for it.
Oh, and
yeah. Apple's notorious has been, whoever their legal people are for China should probably be fired, because they've already lost a couple of patent disputes because they neglected to go file patents in timely, and some Chinese company went in and filed the patents for the same stuff, and of course the Chinese government are going to support the Chinese company over Apple.
Yeah, that's crazy. And I mean, these companies have to work on these devices several years in advance to get going, so it's not like, when people say that this company or that company copied Apple, and I mean, it's not any of the more reputable companies people accuse of doing that. It's not like they can just toss out something in a month or two.
Yeah. I mean, Samsung is a little different, and I think you could probably see where, because they had insider knowledge from the get-go because they were making the screens. So they did have that advanced knowledge to kind of copy stuff.
Yep. So, who knows? I'm kind of over all the patent stuff. I'm tired of listening to it. Tired of complaining.
Just give me my damn tech.
Right. Was there a new version of iOS that came out? I thought I saw 8.1. Something came out.
I'm not certain. I guess I need to check. I think there was a 0.1 or something that came out.
Okay.
Because I was doing some updates over Thanksgiving. Of course, when everybody's together, all my family goes, "Can you update my?" My mom's like, "Can you update my tablet?" My sister's like, "Can you update my iPad?" And then they both want their iPhones updated. They're too lazy to do it themselves. Of course, I had to tell my sister, I was like, "You don't have enough storage on your thing." Well, because I don't want to delete pictures. Why don't you hook up the Mac Mini I gave you, and then it'll do it for you?
Oh, that's the worst. Here, can you look at this? Can you look at that? But luckily, the only person there's two people in my family that still use iPhones. My brother, he has an iPhone 5C, and then my mom uses an iPhone 5S. And had a neat little incident on Saturday. My mom calls me. I was actually over at her house working on some stuff over there. And she says, "Are you home?" I'm like, "No, I'm at your house." And, she's like, "I've lost my phone." She was calling from the Home Depot. And she said, "Can you look up and see if it still shows that it's on air or whatever?" So I'm like, "Sure." So I pull up. I'm like, "Miranda, I need my tablet," because she was up playing, I don't know, Flappy Bird or something. So she brings me my Nexus 9, and I hop on Chrome, go to iCloud.com, and unsupported browser. Like, really, Apple? It would be that hard to make it work on something else? So I'm like, we gotta go. So I jump in the car and head home. It's just a couple miles up the road to my house, and jump on and pull it up in iCloud. And sure enough, her phone is still showing it's at the Home Depot, but they do have, I have to give it to Apple. They have a nice map interface, and I can see that it's actually in the parking lot. They've got a diagram of the Home Depot laid out and it tells you which area is which. So I was able to tell my mom to go out, if you're looking out the front, go out the left door, and I assume that's where you parked. Go look by your car and call me back. So a few minutes later, she calls me, and I found it.
Hopefully, when she called you from her phone.
Yeah. But I was so frustrated just because I had to drive all the way home to do that, because time is of the essence if you drop something like that, especially at the particular area where she was. Somebody's going to pick it up. They're not going to turn it in.
There was one potential alternative you could have done.
If
you have TeamViewer on your Mac, you could have TeamViewed from your 9 onto it, and then access your browser on your Mac.
But the problem for me was I didn't have my Mini, wasn't on.
Oh, okay.
It's in my bag. So yeah, I think Joe Lombardo had suggested that too. And normally I would do something like that, but it was frustrating because all I had with me was my phone and my tablet, and they're both Android. So
yeah, I made the mistake of letting my mom know I could use TeamViewer on my tablet, because now I screwed something up. Can you log into my computer and fix it? It doesn't matter where I'm at.
Yeah, and I don't know if I mentioned this a while back, but that's my mom's Mac Mini. The hard drive went out in it. Luckily, it was within warranty, so she took it back. I had installed Windows 7 on it because my dad was insistent that he couldn't use Mac OS. And then the hard drive died, so now I have it sitting here on my desk waiting for me to reinstall Windows.
Did you boot camp, or did you use a virtual?
It was boot camp.
Okay.
I figured the virtual would just be too complicated.
Complicated.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess my problem with it is I like the virtual, but the biggest problem with it is because you always have to keep upgrading as you update your OSs and the versions of OS. Sometimes like Parallels will nickel and dime you occasionally to get upgrades.
Parallel's the worst.
I mean, it works great. It's just the upgrades suck because they keep forcing you to do forced paid upgrades whenever you upgrade your OS.
Yeah, and it's not cheap. I mean, it's like $40-something to upgrade.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I fell into that trap too, and I still use it enough to make it work well. I have been using it when I had Samsung devices to upgrade those through Odin.
Mm-hmm.
That was really useful.
I usually use mine for like software ripping stuff that I needed to do, or like DVD ripping, because there was a better software for ripping stuff on PC than there was for Mac, especially for the stuff like if you want to go to a website that's got streaming video and rip it to a movie file. I found there was better stuff that was cheap and free on PC.
Yep. So let's see here. Android 5.0.1 has hit AOSP, and there's already some factory images up. So if you have a Wi-Fi only device, Nexus 10, Nexus 7, Nexus 9, you can.
I actually got the over-the-air for that right before the show.
You got it?
Yeah, it's just rebooting now because I needed to log in with the password for the encryption.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it hit. All of a sudden, I saw 5.01 is available. Please click to install.
Huh. I did mine last night as soon as it was.
Mine probably was there all day. I just didn't use my tablet because I was so busy at work. And so it may have been sitting there waiting for me to install it since this morning.
Yeah, I saw some people were still waiting for it. I mean, there's probably not a whole lot that it fixes. And I didn't put this in the show notes, but apparently Android Wear 2.0, which I thought had already hit, is due in anytime too. So I had told a couple people that I thought Android Wear 2 was already here. We got a big update to Android Wear a month or so ago, and that added Bluetooth, stereo, headphone support, all that kind of stuff. But apparently this is different, and it's supposed to really improve battery life on Android Wear.
Yeah, I'll know all about that probably about next month once I finally get my watch back. I had to send it off to get it fixed.
Oh, maybe they'll hook you up.
Yeah. I mean, my thing is I didn't care because the cost to fix it regardless was going to be cheaper than going to buy a new one. So that was a no-brainer for me.
Yep. Let's see. So 501, not much to report there. I put it on my tablet and it still works.
Yeah, I guess that's a good thing.
Yeah. So yeah. For me, I always flash of either the OTA update if it's available quick enough, or just the factory image, which there's a way to do that without wiping. And it usually only takes me 5 minutes to download the ROM image and then extract the pieces I need. So that's kind of fun if I have a few minutes to do and basically just grab it.
It's always great though when it's telling you it's already there and ready to install.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I guess I should have been more patient, but since mine's rooted, I don't know what it would do anyway, and it was easier just to kind of control the process for me. So take that, Patrick. There was, I don't know if anybody was following me on Twitter, you're probably sick of hearing about my Nexus 6, and I won't even call them woes. I think my only gripe at this point about the Nexus 6 was that the thing is slippery. And I mean slippery like holding a wet fish slippery. And I don't understand, like the Nexus 5 was basically perfect for me as far as holding and grip because it had soft touch.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem with the Nexus 6 is it doesn't have soft touch at all. And it being a bigger device makes it even harder to hold.
Mm-hmm.
So what I found was that I was not using my phone other than when I was like somewhere safe, you know, like sitting on the couch where if I dropped it, it wouldn't fall on the floor and break. Or so I was really considering getting a Moto X 2014. because it's basically the same device. It's just smaller. It's a 5.2-inch screen and it's 1080p. And I mean, I really do love the Nexus 6. The the screen's beautiful. My battery life, I've made a couple of adjustments and now my battery life's fine. The camera for me is really, really good, and so yeah, I really wanted to keep it, but I didn't want to drop it and break it. Oh, and Matt in the chat room's asking if it's iPhone slippery. It's like iPhone 3G slippery.
Because I was say, because I know when my dad first got his 6 Plus, that thing, yeah, no way I would carry that thing without a case.
Yep. So anyway, I got the 140 off coupon for Moto X, which if somebody needs one, I have an extra one, so hit me up. Just go to my contact page, billstebbins.com, and I will if I still have it, I'll give it to you. I would like for somebody to be able to use it, but I was planning on getting a Moto X at least to try it out, and then I was on, I guess it was last Friday. I said, you know what? I'm going to just try a case. Even though I don't want to use a case, I'm going to try one. So I ended up grabbing 2 cases. They're both speaking cases. And I found one that I really like, and it doesn't bother me at all. And so I talked myself out of getting the Moto X.
Nice. I know with my dad, we ended up finding some cheap case on Amazon because there still really isn't a lot of cases out there for the 6 Plus. And because we even went to like Best Buy Mobile at the mall, we went to the Apple store just to kind of see what they had out there. After he had gotten the cheap one, I think it's like that iBlazon or whatever, the one you see a lot of times on Amazon. And it was a 2-piece, like it snaps together, and it has like a built-in screen protector on it, and he loves it. It doesn't add a whole lot of space on it, and it completely changed the grip of the phone from being something that was super slippery to being like something I would probably carry if I wanted to carry an iPhone.
Yeah. So, anywho, yeah, Brian's asking if I can hold the case up. I'll talk about it. It's actually my pick of the week, so stay tuned, and I'll go into a little more detail on it. But I know our buddy Jeff Boothroyd, what is he, JJB70 on Twitter, he bought one, a Moto X, so I'm interested to get his thoughts because he's also one that was struggling a little bit with the Nexus 6 size. And I think it's just the slippery part. It's basically the same as and I can give you a quick preview. There it is. It's basically the same size as my wife's Note 3 with a case. So, I was concerned about 2 things with the Moto X: battery life and the potato camera. So we'll see if that comes to. I'll get Jeff's impressions on it, I'm sure, as soon as he gets his. And that's pretty much it on the Moto X. You're not tempted at all, right?
No, I mean, I figure I'm kind of playing a wait and see just to see how the rollout goes for people adding the Nexus 6 on Verizon before I pull the trigger on buying one. Because, I mean, obviously I could always sell it somewhere else, but at some point, I still love my Note 3. I don't have any real problems with it, but I wouldn't mind having something that gets updates more timely.
Yeah.
But I mean, for all intents and purposes, there's nothing I don't like about my Note 3, especially with just the bumper case.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it works perfect for everything I want. And most of what I use it most of the day as a hotspot plugged into my Wilson electronic signal booster and just use my Nexus 9 throughout the day. Especially now that I can send SMS texts through Hangouts.
Yeah, that's super handy. So, Verizon Note 3. Did you get the update?
I did. Actually, I got it last night, and I decided to stay up, wait till it installed. Haven't really noticed any major differences other than the additional stuff they loaded on it. I'm sure.
I put on there.
Huh?
What crap did they put on there?
Well, it's Knox 2 instead of the original Knox. The soft card, which is kind of funny because I got an update about that about a week before, and it's like, in order to use this, you must have the NFC Enhance Secure SIM. Please click the following link to see about ordering one for your phone for free. I click it, go through the whole process. We're sorry, there are no compatible SIM cards available. Really?
Oh.
I'm thinking about going by the store and just going, look, I've got an adapter for a Nano. I'm just gonna lie and say, hey, look, I may be buying a buddy's iPhone 6 Plus.
Moto X 2013.
It's like, just can you just give me a SIM card?
Yep. Moto X 2013 has a nano SIM. Just order the SIM cutter. They're like $5 on Amazon.
Well, my problem is I'm already worried that I kind of half-ass cut the one I have now, which was the one from the Thunderbolt. So I'm like, but even cutting it still won't be the NFC enhanced one. So if I ever wanted to use it.
Yeah. Well, you could always, I mean, surely if you find the right person, they'll just say, yeah, here. Right?
Huh?
If you find the right person at the store, they'll just be like, oh, okay, cool.
Oh, yeah, that's what I figure. There's like 3 corporate stores within like a mile of me, I'll just hit all 3 of them up until one of them gives me what I want.
Yeah.
I just figured maybe that's their collective way of saying, no, we need you to call and go, we see that you kept your unlimited last year when you got your Note 3, so F you, we're not giving you a SIM.
Huh.
That's what I'm worried it is.
Yeah. You wouldn't have seen this, but Device Assist was released for Nexus and Google Play Edition devices, and it's basically kind of like a troubleshooting program from Google. The funny thing is, one of the recommended steps is to reboot your device in the troubleshooting. And if you've used a Nexus device or a Google Play Edition device, there is no reboot menu when you try and do that. All you get is power off.
And force reboot by holding down the power button.
Yeah. Which, I mean, that's one thing that just bugs the crap out of me. Why can't you put reboot in there?
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's one of the first things almost all the manufacturers do if they skin Android. It seems like that would have been something they would have said, that's a good idea to add to Nexus, to just pure Google.
So I don't know. I mean, I guess that'll be neat for kind of novice people, but for people like us, I'm not sure that really matters a whole lot to have this program, because it's not going to be like, oh, your Wi-Fi is off. That's not why it's working. If I've got a problem, it's really something pretty elaborate usually.
And it's probably their fault.
Yeah, exactly. So if you want to check that out, go ahead. It's Update Wednesday for Google, so they're rolling out all kinds of updates. I saw Gmail, Google Play Games, Google Plus. What else did I see? I don't know. There was like 8 or 10 maps, music, bunch of. I got the maps one last night.
Yeah, I think I got like a ton last night.
Yep. And I'm getting to where I only sideload really the ones that are really important to me, and I don't want to wait. So like if there's a Hangouts one, then I will grab that immediately because.
Yeah, because it's an app. It's probably got a feature you want, and you're tired of waiting for.
Exactly. I mean, I use Hangouts all day long. I mean, I'll look at Hangouts just periodically just to see what's in there, and it's like, holy crap! It's like the hub of my phone now.
Pretty much. The only one that I would say is probably even quicker I will sideload than Hangouts is Google Play Service updates.
Ooh.
Because that usually connects everything else, and I want that.
I tried that on my Nexus 9, and I grabbed the wrong one and screwed all kinds of stuff. I had to factory reset it.
Wow. I always like quadruple check which one I need.
I did. I really was.
You didn't read the one that said for a Lollipop?
I did not. And then I started getting all these force closes, and it was basically unusable. It was terrible. It was completely my fault. I was impatient.
I was about to say, I always go with like the carpentry rule, like measure twice, cut once,
Yeah.
read it like 6 times, then download it, and then read it a couple more times, then install it.
Well, I had a few minutes at work, and I thought, oh, I'll just throw this on. Big mistake. I was like, I better just shut this off and go back to work.
That sounds like when I tried to do the Yosemite update using my hotspot at work because I didn't want to wait to get home to download it and install it. It did not work well.
So Google is confirming that there's ongoing development for kid-friendly versions of Google services, which I am all for because my kids use Google stuff. They have their own Gmail and all that stuff. Really, they're supposed to be 13, I think, and it's kind of a pain. I would like to have some versions that don't require me to see every single email that they get, stuff like that.
Well, not only that, it makes more sense because there's a huge market developing around kid-centric tablets, like with the Nobbies and all. There's like tons of like unknown manufacturers that make decent tablets now, selling them on Amazon, which I would much rather, if you're going to get a kid like that kind of tablet, have the kid-friendly versions of like YouTube and everything loaded, so that you don't have to go in and try to do parental settings and stuff on, especially on these weird manufactured tablets that probably aren't running pure Google.
Yep. So I guess we'll see how that plays out. I don't know how far away that is or anything, but that would be pretty cool to have some more curated versions. I mean, maybe that's what Inbox is supposed to be. It's kid-friendly, right? Kind of basic. There was something else Google started offering, I don't know if it was a week, 2 weeks ago, that I was really interested in, and I almost bought a Chromebook just because of this. They're giving 1 terabyte of Google Drive free for 2 years with the holiday purchase of a Chromebook. And right now I'm paying, I think, $10 a month for a terabyte of Google Drive.
Yeah, I think it's $9.99.
So if I could buy a Chromebook, I would basically get a terabyte free for 2 years or $240 worth of Google Drive. So if I can buy the Chromebook for any less than that, then it's basically a free Chromebook for me.
Yeah, score. And plus, if you've been wanting to think about getting one of the newer ones that have been coming out, it's a great excuse to kind of finally pull the trigger.
Yep. I'm still looking. I don't really need a Chromebook. It would be nice to have one.
I thought about getting one for my mom just because she's like, I want a laptop. And I was like, well, what do you want to do with it? Enter a contest? Well, I'll get you a Chromebook.
Definitely.
That's all you need.
Yeah.
Like, what does it do on it? Anything you need to do, getting on the internet? She's like, what about checking email? That's internet.
Finally, an OTA update for Lollipop is going out for Galaxy S5 in what country?
Poland was where the first report started hitting, but my guess it's the international version that's getting it obviously first because the carriers are not going to let it come out that quick here. But the international in Europe, apparently they're starting to get the updates, so that's a good sign.
Yep.
If you're an S5 user, although the report showed that they sold 4 million less of those than they did of the 4 the year before.
Wow.
Somebody should have got fired.
Yep.
But I mean, it's good to see that's coming out because then that means the quicker it gets out, then the carrier ones should start coming out, and that also means if you have an S4, a Note 3, whatever, the quicker the newer ones get it, the quicker you're going to get yours.
Yep, I agree, and I know several people at the base, but So in other news, Sony Pictures was hacked, and I can neither confirm nor deny that several of their movies are on torrent sites as screeners available for download that are not even in the theaters yet.
Yeah, some of them aren't set to release till like March.
Yes.
At least that's what according to the article I read.
Oh, really? Well, I don't think I'll be going to the theater to see any of those movies.
Yeah, none of them really were like something I would want anyway.
Yep.
And I have a feeling most of the people who probably would go watch a lot of those movies are probably not the kind that would be out on the websites where these are being torrented and everything. So Sony may have dodged a bullet there.
Yeah. So the rumor is, and I think Sony Pictures is going to make this officially announced, but they have a movie coming out called The Interview, I think is what it's called, and it's got Seth Rogen in it.
Mm-hmm.
And the original title of the movie was Kill Kim Jong-un. And the premise of the movie is that Seth Rogen is like a reporter, and the CIA or somebody convinces him that he needs to kill the leader of North Korea during an interview.
I saw the preview for this.
It's a comedy.
It's him and James Franco.
Yeah. And so North Korea is pissed about this because they don't understand American comedy. And so somebody there hacked Sony Pictures and took, these movies and all these other things, and so it's funny, but it's not funny. No, I found it amusing. And it's been like, I don't know about you, Patrick. I've not been all that entertained by several of Seth Rogen's movies lately.
Yeah, it's kind of, some of it's played out. Like, it seems like I'm watching the same thing with just different title.
Yeah, I mean, the comedy is not even funny sometimes.
I mean, the last somewhat humorous I liked for him was probably either, well, Neighbors wasn't bad, but what is it? The one, This Is the End or something like that.
See, I didn't find that one funny at all.
There were parts that were funny, but then some of it was just kind of like uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like, the whole part with Emma Watson, you're
Yeah.
like, that's just kind of weird.
Yeah. I mean, I think Seth Rogen peaked at Superbad. Just saying. He was in Superbad, wasn't he? You may not
think
know,
so.
that's Jonah Hill.
That's Jonah. I was like, no, that's Jonah. I was like, wait a minute, am I confusing those two? No.
It's an idiot. Yeah, I mean, like Pineapple Express was kind of funny and whatever.
I kind of like how they make fun of that in This Is the End. Where you're talking about Pineapple Express 2.
Yeah.
Go back for the dead.
Yeah. And speaking of not funny, T-Mobile and AT&T are doing more stuff to piss people off. In this case, they pushed out some software updates, which usually people are happy about, but silently they've installed some software. What is it? DT Ignite, I think is the name of it. It installs bloatware. And you can't remove the bloatware. Like, you can uninstall it, and then when you reboot, it comes back. So people are really angry at them, and I think if it's found out that they're using your bandwidth to install these things repeatedly, there's going to be some kind of a lawsuit, and that'll be interesting.
Especially considering if you're on limited data and they're forcing it, yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be even better if you're a person who happened to go over and happened to be about that much over.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, I'm on AT&T now, and they still suck. They still do stupid things. Them and Verizon just rank right up there. Sprint just sucks. AT&T and Verizon do stupid stuff because they can.
I was about to say, AT&T, are you surprised when most people claim their logo should be the Death Star?
Right. I mean, that's basically what it amounts to. And then in other stupid carrier news, Uncarrier T-Mobile. Well, so what they've been doing, if you have one of those plans with, unlimited, but they throttle you after a certain amount.
The unlimited?
Yeah. Well, basically what they've been doing is if you run a speed test and you're throttled, They unthrottle you for the speed test.
Those bastards.
So the FCC is like, no, you can't do that. That's misleading and wrong and dishonest.
I mean, it really is, because you're thinking, wow, either they're not throttling me, or maybe throttling isn't so bad.
Yeah, maybe I've got another. Maybe I should buy that new phone from the uncarrier.
Sounds like a lot of these carriers just need a kick in the butt.
Yep. All right, Patrick, you got the Fire Stick, right?
I did. Did you?
No, I did not purchase that. I've cut my impulse buying down to like 1 or 2 devices a month.
I'm going to go with you should have made this impulse buy, especially at the $19. And in my case, I had a $10 credit, so I got it for $9, which made it even better.
Awesome.
It's similar to Chromecast in about size. It comes with an extender. It has the plug, but instead of coming out the back end of it, it comes off the bottom side. The wall plug for it's kind of interesting because it's a square plug, and then the plug goes straight down, so it's made to really flush mount. So if you're doing it behind a TV. But the thing I like about it, it's obviously it's got Netflix, and Amazon Instant Video is great. The only thing I wish it would have came with the remote that has the voice control built in it. But I mean, and what I figure is I'll just keep an eye out if they ever get a credit or if they're on sale, I'll pick up one of those for it. But what's nice is it's got several apps, especially if you're a person who has kids, where you can set up Netflix. It has all of the Watch Disney apps that you can set up easily, which lets you watch it live. It doesn't have HBO Go yet, but they're supposed to be getting it in the next few months. But the other thing that's nice about it, and I kind of found it by accident, if you go into the settings, it's actually a Miracast receiver. So if you have a device that has Miracast, you can cast your screen just like you can with the Chromecast with certain devices, and it'll put whatever's on your screen up on the screen. And for me, for $19, that was like, okay, that's a no-brainer. Unfortunately, it doesn't work with the Nexus 9 because people have found out it doesn't have Miracast support. But the Nexus 7 should, unless Lollipop breaks it. And I found my Note 3 works perfect. I can basically use it just like I do with my Chromecast. And when I had a Chromecast in my bedroom, the signal from the Wi-Fi, it had lots of problems casting. I had no problems whatsoever with the Fire Stick, but that's also because the Fire Stick has 2.4 and 5 gigahertz support. So if you were lucky enough to pick it up when they offered it to the Prime people for $19, yeah, that's a no-brainer for a Miracast receiver. And then the fact that it comes with a remote, so if you have someone who, especially like an elderly parent that like wants to watch Netflix, but they really don't want to have to try to deal with their phone to control it, it comes with the regular Bluetooth remote, so you don't have to worry about pointing at stuff, and it works really well for Netflix, Amazon Instant, and you can use the remote control app. I've got it on my Nexus 9 and on my Note 3, and it adds the voice search feature when you use it.
That's awesome. Now, does it show up, like if you were going to, say you wanted to cast Google Play Music, does it show up as a receiver?
I don't know. Let's test this out. I'm opening it because it's running some updates. Music. I did not even attempt to test that out because I was figuring it wouldn't do some of the stuff because of the casting. But let's see. It does not show up as connect to device. But that may be because the way that Google has it set up to try to force you to kind of use it.
Well, but you know, like there's other devices that will show up as castable. Like the Slingbox can do that.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't see, unless that's Amazon not wanting to do that, which seems silly. Well, I mean, the more devices they can, or more services they can embrace, seems like the better it would make it sell. Because I know a lot of people that want to do Amazon Instant Video, but they also want to do their Google services. Why not give them the option? Why, Patrick?
I don't know, but I will say this: if I remember correctly, there is an Allcast for it that's available in the App Store for the Fire Stick, so you can actually use Allcast to cast stuff too.
Gotcha.
And I think if I remember correctly, it also has support for the Plex app and a couple other ones. So I mean, it's a pretty good competitor. I mean, it obviously, if you're a pure Android person, Chromecast can do a lot of other things for you. But I mean, for me, at the $19 price range, it was a definite no-brainer.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I could see this being really useful too, like in a kid's room or something, or like if you have an entertainment room or something where you want something with a remote control, you can't beat this.
Yep. No, I did take advantage of the Chromecast that was on sale at Amazon for $22 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Not because I needed another one to go with my 5, but my sister, I thought she would like one, so I got her one for Christmas, and while I was hanging the TV, I went ahead and wired it all up. And I'm just not going to tell her that it's there until Christmas. I'll hand her, like, give her the box, and she can unwrap it, and be like, surprise! And I'll, like, put the... what's the Yule log up on the Chromecast or whatever?
Oh, by the way, Allcast, the Fire TV does show up as a playback device.
Okay, cool.
So it apparently it's just the ones where you're using the Chromecast APK. For some reason, it doesn't show up.
Okay, that's good to know. So at $19, it's a great buy.
I think even at the $39, it may still be, depending. Okay. Especially if you're a person that's a Prime user, mm-hmm. because it lets you use native Amazon Prime videos without having to do any kind of special trying to screencast it. The fact that it's not supported at all right now on the Nexus 9, it's a great way to kind of watch it, especially if you don't already have like a Xbox One or something to watch your Prime videos.
That's true. Okay, if you are considering switching to Sprint from, I guess it's AT&T or Verizon.
That was the two that they were saying they could cut your bill in half.
Yeah, and
maybe not so much.
Actual savings, Patrick.
They kind of admitted today that your savings probably really closer to 20%, so not even half of the half that it's supposed to save you.
Wow, that's not good.
I guess the rest of that cut your bill in half is by the fact that you will never have a data overage because you'll never be able to use your data because it's so slow.
Yeah, I had to help somebody at work today with some Google stuff on her phone, and she had a Sprint device that has Spark. And every time I was doing something on the internet, it's got this thing that spins in the taskbar or the notification bar, and it was horrible. It was so distracting and slow.
Yeah, I figure I'm going to stick with Verizon until they forcibly get rid of my unlimited data, and then I'll look at probably doing AT&T, because then until Verizon gets rid of their 3G, it'll be, if I'm going to get screwed either way, I'd rather at least be one where I can take whatever phone I want and use it.
Right. HBO Go is finally on the Xbox One, and I have HBO Go, and I've used it a grand total of no time.
My favorite time to use it is if I need to catch up on Game of Thrones. That's exactly why I bought HBO in the first place, is solely for that. I'll occasionally check if I'm bored and there's nothing on cable and I don't really see something on Netflix. Sometimes I'll check what HBO's got as like their movies, because sometimes I'd rather use the HBO Go app than try to go through the on-demand service from my cable company.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm glad to see Xbox One's getting it. Of course, it's kind of funny because it kind of really more solidifies the PS4 as being a game-only type device, because it still doesn't have any of this.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of interesting how the Xbox One's really become more of a media-centric. It's really evolved from, when the original Xbox had Xbox Media Center and we were all trying to do all that crap by hacking it. And now we've, two devices versions later, they're building it all in, and I have no desire to hack my Xbox One at all.
What's kind of funny too is the 360 as the Xbox One had been announced and was getting ready to come out, they kind of just slammed the 360 with tons of media things. I guess they've realized, hey, why don't you keep your 360 and use it as a media extender?
Yep, and that's what I do. I have, I don't know, whatever, 5 of them.
I've only got the one. I do still have my PS3 though, but I think I may have to do some work on it because I tried to turn it on the other day and I got the black screen because I hadn't turned it on forever. So I'm hoping it's just the hard drive may be bad.
Serves you right. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh no, I will send that thing in and get it fixed. I don't care if it costs me $300 because it's one of the few backwards compatible ones. I'm keeping that bitch.
They'll probably just send you. Here, we'll send you a PS4.
No, I want this fixed. Kindly return it to me. I will go find someone who will fix it.
Right.
Part of me though hopes the hard drive isn't going bad because it has all of my. I was one of the ones like because it was I'd gotten it. I was still in college, so it's got like all of the Rock Band 1, 2, 3, Green Day, Lego Rock Band, Beatles, and a couple other ones. Like all the songs are saved on that hard drive.
Yeah.
And I mean, I can somewhat reclaim them through the online, like the store. You can go back and reclaim your purchases. But at this point, it's probably going to be really hard since it's not even the current system anymore.
Finally, Verizon is starting to take on reclaiming 3G airspace for 4G LTE, which finally is Verizon.
Although, right now it's only in Manhattan, but they got to start somewhere. And so, I mean, it's a good sign at least they're starting this process, which means at some point there's a light at the end of the tunnel where 3G is no longer here.
Yep.
Because the greatest part of that is once 3G is gone, as long as they have no CDMA anymore, they can't do all the restrictions they do about devices anymore.
Right.
Because everything will be SIM-based.
Yeah. And that's a good thing. I mean, you know, I had really good experiences mostly with Verizon, except for a couple of key places where I was a lot, and then it didn't work hardly at all. And that was because there was 3G. So if they're going to reform that for 4G, at least at some point, that's a good thing.
Especially considering some of that frequencies are usually better for indoor use too.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's usually the only problem I have with Verizon is sometimes like in my office it'll drop to like 1x or something because the signal's just terrible in the building.
Yep. All right, so people, if you want to get a hold of Patrick or I, we're on Google Plus the Simulcast. We are on Twitter at the Simulcast. We're on Facebook, facebook.com/the Simulcast. You can email us, podcast@thesimulcast.com, or you can subscribe to our Push Bullet channel, which is linked in the show notes, and that way you can get notified immediately after I post the show every other Wednesday night. You can also leave us a voicemail at 203-903-CAST. We verified not too long ago that was still working. So
let's put it this way. We're everywhere. If you can't find us, you're not trying.
That's right. And if you're not looking for us, well, who needs you anyway? So you will be so proud of me, Patrick. Remember I sold those games on Craigslist because I didn't have time to play them?
Yes.
And then I bought Call of Duty Advanced Warfare thinking because I got it on a sale and thought I'd never open it. I opened it and played it twice. Twice.
I'm about to say, I opened the one before that and I've never played it yet. Ghost.
So I'm just playing the campaign. I had some time over. I got one day off after the Friday after Thanksgiving, so I took off and was playing some campaign. It's actually, I know people complain that it's kind of repetitive and stuff like that, but I have a good time because I can just run around and shoot people and not get arrested for it. I'm just saying.
So you're a couple times playing it. Have you enjoyed it?
Yeah. I mean, I bought it on sale for $35. I figured I couldn't go wrong for $35. And I didn't play it for like 10 minutes. I played it for 2 or 3 hours at a time. So pretty far along in the campaign, and so far it's been a lot of fun. There's quite a bit of variety. You get to fly drones and shoot dogs, and
I may see about getting that then, because I need to re-up my live anyway. Because I don't think I've touched my Xbox One for like a month, because I've been sitting and watching a little TV, and that's about it.
Yeah.
In fact, a lot of it's been using the Chromecast, or now with the Fire TV, and so. But I figure I need to get back into it. Plus, it'll be an excuse because I know usually like Dave and Jeff and them sometimes are on. So, especially Dave, I haven't talked to him in a while, so he usually gets on and plays stuff. So, my favorite though is I knew I hadn't played in a while when I logged on to do the update about a month ago, and I got invites from people to play Destiny. And I'm like, I don't even own the game, and I'm getting invites to go play the game.
Wow. Yeah. Well, there's a campaign. In campaign, there's a co-op mode, which looks to be kind of cool. I don't know how that works, or anything like that, but a lot of my friends from real life that used to play Halo with me have quit playing Xbox for the most part. So the campaign is kind of fun for me because I don't have to play with random ass hats that do dumb stuff.
The thing I've been wanting. And I'm curious to see how they did this, because that's one thing I didn't like. And I guess I don't know it goes because I haven't played it yet. Black Ops 1 had one of my favorite things, because instead of the campaign, using the training mode where it would actually simulate, like, the AI was really good, and it would, like, mimic the people you usually play with from your list. And so I actually had fun with that, because it was kind of like playing online without having to get online and find and listen to a bunch of little kids yap. I think it was like the battle bots or something like they called it, or something like that.
Yep. So that's what I've been doing, and then I guess Sons of Anarchy. Oh my! I'm not gonna spoil anything.
I figured you had to have been watching that, because I flipped through and I was like, wow, this thing is like 3 or 4 hours long. It must be the finale.
It is the penultimate, which means the second to last. So. Last night was the second to last. So next Tuesday, I will be weeping in my bed, crying.
I've never seen anything other than a finale or a pilot be that long.
Yep. But it's gosh, it's rough, man. It's just rough.
The roller coaster's coming around the bend to the last stop.
Yeah, the train is it's off the rails. What about you?
Mostly watching the last couple episodes before they hit holiday break. The Flash, which to me has been really good the first season, and Arrow, which was really cool because last night and tonight they're kind of doing crossovers for both nights between the two shows. And then Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which is really starting to get good because you can tell they're starting to kind of like introduce stuff that's not only tying into the movies that are coming up, but like future movies that are coming up. And so it's kind of, the show to me it just keeps getting better.
Yep. Cool. I haven't watched any of them.
Wait for them to hit Netflix.
Yeah, pretty much. I need to watch stuff. I just don't have time.
I do know at some point I want to get an updated Sling box just so I can Chromecast.
Yep.
I think I've got the Solo HD, which unfortunately does not support.
Yep. The 350 and the 500 do. Well, that's handy.
Of course, my Nexus tablet supports it because it's called screencasting.
And picks of the week. My pick this week is the Spigen air case for the Nexus 6. So let's take a look at this thing. Can you see this? Yes, you can. All right, so it's a pretty minimal case. What I like about it, it's a TPU with plastic key stuff. I like that the back of it, you can still see the open, you can still see the back. There's nothing open other than the camera cutout.
Mm-hmm.
right there is my D brand sticker around the camera. I did have a D brand leather back, and I took it off because I didn't like it. But they retain the dimple, which is kind of a nice feature. It has basically the same outline as what the stock Nexus looks like without that. So all in all, I really like the case. It's like $12 on Amazon.
That's not bad at all.
It's made the device very, very useful for me because now I can hold it without worrying about it flying out of my hands and smashing the screen. Best $12 I've spent. And then the second pick this week, which I normally don't do too, but is the Moco case for my Nexus 9, and it's roughly. I bet if you held up the Poetic case next to it, it would look identical. It folds back. It's got magnetic latch, nice and solid closure. Button cutouts are nice. So far, I really like it, and I think I paid $5 shipped for it, so I'm cool with that.
Nice.
What do you have?
I've got the Poetic for the Nexus 9. One thing I will note, it does not have that the one for the 7 had, and I didn't really think about it until you just mentioned it. It does not have the magnets on the right side for the flap.
So it doesn't wake the screen when you open it?
It does wake, but it does. You know how the 7 had the extra magnets to hold the smart cover closed?
Uh-huh.
This doesn't have those on the right side.
You know, mine doesn't show that it has any, but it does have something because I can feel it. It's very strong when it closes. Interesting.
This one, I mean, it does feel slightly like it's catching magnetic, but it doesn't. It's not as strong as like with the slim case for the Nexus 7 2013 edition, where it had like 2 dedicated magnets to hold that thing from flapping.
Right.
But I mean, I like it because it doesn't really add much to anything. One of the things I'm going to try to mod with it, because it should fit because it has a really good wide opening on the bottom. I picked up one of those S5/universal receivers that are meant to. It actually has a USB plug on the end. It plugs into your port, and then you're supposed to fold it up under the cover. Well, I figured I'd put it underneath the actual cover for this and see how it works. I was going to try it this weekend, then I realized, because I haven't used any wireless charging since I gave up the Nexus 7 about 3 or 4 months ago, I don't have any chargers anymore. So I was like, crap, I need to buy one.
Yeah.
So I figure I'll scope out with the holiday sales, find one of the big large ones, kind of like the Energizer one and stuff that are made for like a bedside that are they're tablet sized, and try that.
I've had good luck with the PowerBot. They're like $10 or $12 on Amazon, and they're fairly large in size. They're slightly smaller than a Note 3.
That's still pretty good size though.
Yeah, it's good size, and it works fine. I've actually got one right here. That's the one that I put the clear plastic dip on to make it less slippery, and it works fine.
I may look at picking one of those up next week.
Yeah.
Give it a shot, because I mean, if it works, then that'd be even greater because it protects the port, and I'll have wireless charging.
Yep. That's the only thing I miss, and I don't really miss it, but it would be nice to have, just because when I want to go to bed, I don't want to fumble with plugging in my tablet. I just want to lay it down.
Well, my thing that, but then also I like the idea that 5 or 6 months down the road, I don't have to worry about wearing out the plug, or what happens sometimes, the actual cable they give you, it wears out those little prongs on the top that make it actually stay in place.
Mm-hmm.
And so it'd be nice not to have to keep doing that all the time.
I agree. All right, Patrick, where can everybody find you when we're not on the podcast?
You can pretty much always find me on Twitter, handle LSU Law 2009. You can find me on Google Plus usually. Easiest way to find that is plus.technicallylegal.net. And then, of course, or just Google my name. And then you can also find me through email at patrick@thesimulcast.com.
All right, and I am Bill Stebbins, at Bill Stebbins on Twitter, and BillStebbins.com for everything else. That's going to do it for our 250th episode. Thank you guys for listening, watching, tweeting, and retweeting and resharing. all the stuff you guys do to help promote our show. We'll be back in 2 weeks, so that is on the 17th. And until then, stay cool and chat with us. See ya.
Later, guys.